Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Rewatch, where we are finishing Season 1 of Star Trek, the original series. I'm Skyler. This is my friend Daniel.
Woo! Season
Daniel,
1!
Daniel, how did you feel about Season 1 in general?
Generally speaking, I don't know. I think that it is a really good show. I do really enjoy my time with it. Even the bad episodes, there's only maybe
Yeah.
one episode where I was like, I wish I hadn't watched that, and that would probably that's probably gonna be the God, what was it? The guy with the bad
Alternative
beard jumping.
Factor?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's also currently my worst episode
for
right now.
sure, that's got to be the worst one. But in general, I would say even the bad ones, I think because they are sort of a glimpse back in time to like what TV was back then, I think it
Yeah.
has a lot of charm and a lot of really interesting sort of
hmm
talking points. I think that I think it's a great show to watch with a friend. I think that is like the perfect show for that. I will say I think there's only a handful of episodes that I think are like genuinely amazingly written good episodes.
Yeah.
Hey, spoilers, we're going to talk about one of them
We're
tonight.
about to talk about what I
Um,
thought we might be
so
saying
there's
that.
only been a handful of those. I have been told that apparently season 2 is better. But I'm happy with the show so far. Yeah, like I think this is certainly a worthwhile show to watch.
If you look up lists of both best and worst episodes that TOS has to offer,
Yeah.
we've already watched some of both,
Yeah.
and we've got more of both to come. So we're
Hell yeah.
we're we're in it. This is we'll have 30 episodes done and dusted after this recording. So yay! Give a round of applause for Star Trek. Yay!
Is that counting Menagerie as 1 or 2?
I think two.
Okay. Fair.
I
I
think
mean, it
two,
is
and
technically
and
2.
it's
So,
counting the cage as well. So.
yeah.
Um,
Pretty
and then
cool.
and then over seasons 2 and 3, there's 50 more episodes.
Okay, so we're like almost halfway done.
Yeah, almost.
It's pretty cool.
We're getting there. So let's waste no more time. Let's jump right into it and talk about what spoilers. What is considered by many
Okay.
to be the best episode of TOS?
Oh. Oh. So it's all downhill
Uh,
from here.
yeah, maybe. The City on the Edge of Forever.
What what already an ominous title? You know what I mean?
hmm
Like
hmm
what does that
hmm
mean? I will say I think I was primed for this episode in a like emotional way. So I joined a Star Trek Discord semi
Yeah.
recently, like basically around the same time that we started recording these, because
Yes.
I just like wanted to have more people to talk to about Star Trek because I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is a fun thing.
And we gotta plug our stuff. Thanks for listening, anybody.
Yeah, I actually haven't plugged it there yet. I didn't want them to think I was a vampire.
That's
Um,
absolutely fair.
yeah. So, but like as I was watching this, I was like 5 minutes in.
Mhm.
Our captain, because all of the as you sort of engage with the chat there, engage with the chat there,
Engaged.
you sort of like rank up. And as I was watching it, our captain, the guy who's like the top of the top,
Yeah.
he told us that his dad had passed away.
Oh no.
And so it was it was a very like emotional thing because I was already like, wow, this is so good, and then that happened. And his dad was a submarine, like a commander of a submarine, which is I think
Okay.
the closest thing in the real world you can be to the captain
Yeah.
of a Starfleet ship.
Absolutely.
So he was a
Especially in
huge
yeah.
fan of Star Trek, and he shared that with his son.
Oh.
He in 2018 they found a tumor in his brain, and they
Mm.
gave him 12 months to live, and he took 7 years. Uh,
Wow.
what an absolute badass. So I was already like in an emotional state watching this episode, and this episode did not let me down. What a great time.
We want to say thank you to that guy for sharing his story, the captain. Salute to the captain.
So
Yeah, how do we start this one off?
the city on the edge of forever starts as do so many episodes with us all sitting on the bridge of the Enterprise. But this time the ship is shaking really hard from turbulence. Uh, Scotty's saying that the circuits are gonna overload. Spock is telling everybody that there's some anomaly that they're trying to plot, and that's what's causing the turbulence. The helm console then fully explodes and sends Sulu
Yeah.
flying to the ground. So they
Yeah.
have to call Bones in to fix him.
I think like the red alert thing is already going off,
Yeah.
and then Sulu just fucking dies.
He-
That's how
it's
the episode starts.
it's truly, because I mean, we've seen stuff happening on the bridge before. People get thrown around. The console explodes.
Yeah.
Like no joke. It like shoots sparks. Like it is. I mean, we'll talk about it, but like already in the opening seconds of this episode, it feels like it has twice the budget of a normal episode. Like full stop.
Mm. Actually, I think that's true. I don't think this made it into my trivia, but I believe this was then and is now the most expensive episode TOS that was produced.
Well, let me tell you, it was worth it.
It was one of those things where it was like, we made this episode for $30, and that translates to like $6 million for real. It's just like,
Right.
oh, okay, yeah, inflation.
So they call Bones up. They say they have to maintain the orbit for. They think he says like one or two more rotations to fully plot the anomaly. And he says that Spock says that it's of extremely high scientific importance because the anomalies that they're traveling through are ripples in time.
There's like a displacement in space coming from this planet, I guess.
Yeah.
That's causing ripples in time, and they're wrecking our shit.
Kirk orders Uhura to broadcast their last couple weeks worth of logs back to Starfleet and adds something. It adds a last one to it, saying that something down on the planet can control or affect time. Bones says that Sulu has a heart flutter, I guess from being electrocuted. And he goes to give him a shot of a drug called cortisine, which I don't know if it's a real drug.
It is not. It is. This is twice now, and we've only just started. But I'm going to say I didn't flesh this out in my trivia fun facts. But this episode has a famous history of like in the writing process, and it was rewritten a couple times. Originally, it was just adrenaline, and they decided
yeah, that makes
to
sense.
change that, space it up a little bit to this new thing.
So Bones is trying to administer it to Sulu, and he's like, "Oh, it's tricky stuff. You got to be really careful with it." So he gives him 2 drops of cortisine, which is still injected. So it's weird that they specify it by drops and not like cc's or whatever it is. They give him 2 drops to revive him. Spock tells him, "We're almost out of the ripples, but there's one last real big one big wave, baby." And when they hit it, Bones stumbles into what's left of the helm computer and injects himself with the entire rest of the syringe.
Let me tell you, the whiplash that my notes take here.
Yeah.
I got 2 bullet points back to back. First one is, hey, Bones is good at his job for once.
Oops.
The next one is, oh, Bones just accidentally killed himself.
So he drops out of sight so that they can throw a bunch of makeup on him. And when he pops back up, he is very pale and has like the starts of some like pink sores on him, and is sweating like crazy. And he starts screaming, "Assassins! Murderers!" He just runs out. He runs off onto the turbo lift. Kirk calls for a security alert, and we get our intro. And immediately, it's like, oh, this is... At this point, you assume that the episode is going to be, we got to fix Bones. And I guess it kind of is, but not really.
The ship is like, it's going crazy. We got ripples in time. Bones is drugged and sweaty and crazy and running rampant on the ship somewhere.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as just another Tuesday on the Enterprise.
Yeah, honestly. We come back from the intro with a captain's log, and it goes, "Captain's log supplemental entry. 2 drops of cortisine can save a man's life. 100 times that amount was just accidentally pumped into Dr. McCoy's body. In his strange and wild frenzy, he has fled the ship's bridge. All connecting decks have been placed on alert. We have no way of knowing if the madness is permanent or temporary, or what direction it will drive McCoy."
Did you practice that in the mirror?
I didn't practice anything, although I did notice when editing a previous episode that when I do Bones' voice, it's Joe Biden. So I don't know why that happened.
Well,
But
you know,
oh, Jim, I just gotta do some medicine. You know, I
just an old man without his faculties.
I
So
got my leg hair out. The
it,
kids
it
like to grab
fits.
on the leg hair.
Long hair in the pool. Yeah, okay.
Bones runs into the transporter rooms and knocks out Kyle, which seems to be what the entire purpose of Transporter
That's
Chief Kyle is at this
that's
point.
it's Kyle's job.
Bro gets knocked out so fast. And in this case,
It's
he gets
part of
knocked
the
out by
job
getting
description.
slapped on the ass.
Is that true? Hang on.
He
Let me
does
let
like
me,
a he hits him twice, but the first hit is on the ass.
let me check. Let me check the play-by-play here. Oh, right on the ass.
Right on the ass.
Even when he drops down to the ground, he's on the ground. He cups his ass.
he Bones does some ass grabbing in this episode. There's a second time where it occurs.
Oh no.
But he knocks out Kyle, takes his gun, grabs his ass, and beams down to the planet. Kirk and Bones talk about how Corzine apparently has a history of causing paranoid hallucinations, which is, I guess, why he said you have to be careful with it, and then was not, admittedly, all that careful with it.
No, he wasn't careful at all.
A crew member called Galloway, who we've actually seen a lot, and I ended up looking him up because I was like, I've seen this man before. He's just like a background character in most episodes. Calls up, he's the one, he finds Kyle knocked out, and he calls up and tells them that Bones has gone down to the planet. At which point Spock says that the ship was focused on the center of the time disturbance at the time, so he must have beamed down to the exact center of the problem, the time problem. Kirk grabs a team, and they go to beam down, and the team consists of Kirk, Spock, Scotty, Uhura, Galloway, and some unnamed security dude who he really doesn't do anything.
Uhura gets to leave the ship.
Is this, I think, the first time that we've seen her
What
on
a monumentous
a
day this has become.
Oh my god.
Uhura gets to go outside and play. I'm so happy for her.
Oh, I actually wrote down what other things Galloway had done. So Galloway was not named in this episode, but he was the guy who beamed up the Galileo survivors. He
okay, cool.
was the guy who was absorbed by Landru when they were in the other bad episode. He
I remember.
was one of the guards that was imprisoned with Kirk and Spock on MNR 7 with the we have to kill people in the disintegration chambers episode. And that's all that I wrote down. He may have had other things, but that's what I wrote down.
Well, he definitely works here.
He does in fact work here. Down on the planet, they find what they say is a destroyed city, but I'm going to be honest, didn't really read as destroyed city to me.
There's some pillars, some vaguely crumbled, maybe Greek-inspired pillars.
I forget who says it, but there's somebody who's like, "Oh, the ruins go on as far as the eyes can see," and I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but I appreciate you saying that. I
will say, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I did think this set looked really good.
It does. It does look really good. Yeah.
Maybe they. I was trying to think because we're outside, but it is nighttime. It looks like so everything's kind of ominous and spooky
maybe.
looking.
I just assumed it was a soundstage, but yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, it's the sound. But
okay.
we see the sky of the whatever planet we're on.
Did you immediately? Well, you've seen it before, but did you immediately recognize the portal for the same reason that I did?
What did you recognize it as?
There's a Futurama episode based around this bit where they have to take the heads of the cast of TOS to the portal.
Sure.
And I think reenact episodes or something. I don't remember a ton of it.
I did not remember that, but I do now.
It was a good episode, probably. I don't remember it that well, but it was Futurama, so here we are.
Futurama's good. It's a good show.
I enjoyed it. They start fanning out, and Kirk and Spock investigate the portal while everyone else looks for Bones. Spock
who is turning into Gollum?
He is turning into Schmeagol. Yeah, I wrote that literally word for word in my notes.
You chose Schmeagol, I chose Gollum.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's still got hair, you see.
Oh yeah. He's almost there.
He's getting there real fast.
He's that shot from Return of the King when Smeagol's regular eyes closed and the big CGI eyes open.
Oh no! Yeah, they're gonna find him slamming a fish into a rock in a couple hours.
That's nasty.
Spock says that the portal is the source of the time displacement, and he says it defies science.
Yeah, so, I'll say because it can talk.
Because it can talk. I mean, we haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, it can talk, which is crazy.
It's about to start talking to us.
Uhura and one of the guys, I don't remember which one, wanders past Bones, who has, as I wrote here, turned into Schmeagol.
Yeah.
Kirk asks what it is, and the portal answers, because it can talk, that it is the Guardian of Forever. He asks if it's a being or a machine, and he says both but neither, and I was like, cool, thanks for the answer, bro. Didn't help at all.
What does that mean? He was manufactured, but not in a mechanical way. I guess he's a life force.
Yeah, he's bioengineered. He's like the ship from Lex. Did you watch Lex?
No,
no one did. That's fine.
Someone leave a comment if you've watched Lex.
If you watched Lex with 2 X's, I'm sorry. Spock says it's a time portal that could be used to send people, get this, through time. And then the
Yeah.
portal calls them primitive and shows them their past. And he's like, you can go back, might be fun.
Take a look at this, stupid.
Bones runs up screaming. They grab him and nerve pinch him and knock him out. And they start talking about how they could use the portal to go back in time to before Bones was injected to stop him from going crazy.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Which we're going to find out eventually.
Not necessary.
Yeah, not necessary at all. Which he's the only doctor on the ship seemingly, so maybe they don't know that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like
where is Chapel?
Spock could have known that. Whoa.
Where is Nurse Chapel?
Wait a minute. Illogical. Best episode, my ass. Where's Chapel?
Where the hell is Nurse Chapel? Bones wakes up because I guess the nerve pinch didn't take that great.
No, he's hopped up on future adrenaline. He shook it off.
I guess so. And he immediately jumps through the portal, disappearing into what appears to be the 30s.
It's the same thing that killed Sirius Black.
The exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The portal goes, he has passed into what was. I'm like, okay. We all saw it. You didn't have to tell us. Uhura loses contact with the ship as the portal tells them that Bones has changed history in such a way that their ship no longer exists.
Yeah. I mean, it is how time, like, consequence of time travel would work. It would be immediate. But it's just really funny how he dips through this little foggy portal and then everything's gone. Yeah. He just immediately ruined everything.
He was gone for 1 second. For 1 second and he ruined it.
Do you think, like, this hopped up crazy Leonard McCoy goes back in time and somehow ruined the time stream? Did you think, as I may have also thought, like, oh no, how many women did he pester? Who did he touch inappropriately?
Yeah.
What happened?
I didn't think necessarily that. I assumed it was going to be something like, I don't know, someone like took the technology that he had on him or like figured out something and then it changed the course of history. But it doesn't turn out to be that. But
that kind of happens. We'll get to it
a little bit, but that ends up that does happen. But it seems to like it doesn't matter.
I'm excited to talk about that part actually. So let's move on.
Yeah. In a captain's log, Kirk says that they have only one choice now, which is for him and Spock to go through the portal and fix whatever Bones has broken. Mm-hmm. Spock's tricorder tells him that Bones jumped back to the early 20th century, and he can approximate it so that they jump back before he arrives, theoretically giving them time to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
The portal tells them that if they are successful in changing time back to normal, they will be immediately transported back to now as if they had never left. Which is also not true, actually, in hindsight. But okay, never mind.
They got back somehow. Well, I guess if you're taking umbrage with the term immediately.
No, it's because when they come back, Bones isn't still high.
Oh.
If it had been as if they had never left, then he would still be overdosing.
Yeah, that's technically not true. Wow. Best episode, my ass. Let's go.
Uhura and Scotty tell Kirk it's a long shot, but Spock says that they have no other option, which they don't because they no longer have a ship. So we live here now.
Yeah. We'll just hang out here.
Kirk tells them that once they've waited for long enough that they should also go through the portal to attempt to fix whatever had happened, but also because like you can't live on this dead rock. If you are stuck here, at least be stuck in a different time period back on Earth, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just glad this thing drops us off at Earth.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want to be in the 30s
our equivalent of the 1930s on Mars or Flegon 6 or whatever.
Flegon 6. Yeah, I don't think we get a name for this planet.
It's the Guardian of Forever's house.
The House of Forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there it is.
Kirk and Spock jump back to the Depression of the early 30s.
Great Depression.
Herbert Hoover is president, and he's not doing a great job.
No. Boy, can I relate.
Some old ladies see them and start staring, and Kirk says that they aren't dressed right. And Spock is just like, well, my ears are going to be hard to hide. And I was like, you've hidden them before. It's not that bad. You just got to get a hat.
Put on a hat.
Spock then almost gets hit by a car trying to cross the street because I don't know. He doesn't know what cars are, maybe? He looks at it like he doesn't understand.
So they kind of both get almost hit by the car. The car like stops and honks, but Kirk gets out of the way. Spock approaches it.
He's gonna
He's like I
mind
can
meld with it.
I can quell this beast. What's going on?
Kirk steals some clothes, and he makes a joke about stealing from the rich. And I wrote, "That's definitely not the rich."
Well, it's richer than us.
I'm also relatively confident because it was such a specifically shaped alley. I think it's the same one from Miri, which I'm sure this whole thing is on the same set, but I think it's literally
Yeah.
the same alley that the kids like threw shit at them.
I think this is the same town as we've noted. This is we've
It's
come
the
back here multiple times. It's the town from the Andy Griffith Show,
right.
which yeah, okay. I'll read you one of my trivias that I did write down now.
Ooh.
Later in the episode, when Shatner and a different character are walking together on the street, they pass the front of a shop with the names Floyd's Barbershop. It's the same Floyd's Barbershop, which is often seen in the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, what a fun Easter egg for people who were watching TV back then.
Yeah, man, if you loved Andy Griffith and Star Trek, you were having a ball.
You're having a good time. You're like, there's a weird kid living in the house that Andy Griffith broke into that one time or something. I don't know.
You know, I was going to say the fact that we came back to this place, this town, again for the third time,
Right.
I found it odd that this is like the highest budgeted episode of season 1 and maybe the whole show.
Yeah, I think it does make sense though, because think about it, like I mean, yes, we're reusing the same backlot, but it's also like we've got so many extras. We've got like
there's
we've
a
got
lot
cars
more
driving
extras
around
than normal, yeah.
We definitely put more money into effects and like making it look good, because this, all the other ones, it looked like a backlot, and this it looks like they're on a city street.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, they did a good job here. A cop catches them while they're stealing the clothes, and Kirk tries to immediately and not well explain why Spock looks the way he does by saying that he's Chinese. And
Chinese?
He got his ears stuck in a mechanical rice picker.
Rice picker?
And he's like, but fortunately there was a white savior around to bring him back. And the cop's like, I don't care. You're
didn't
stealing
ask.
stuff.
Didn't ask about your friend's ears. Just, you're arrested. You're stealing.
Under arrest.
Been here for 2 minutes and we're being arrested.
He tries to arrest him, and Kirk says, "Oh, it's a shame your wife let you out like that, because your suit's so dirty." And then Spock hits him with a nerve pinch.
Got him with the old something on your shirt gag.
This is the second time they've done that. I hope they do it a bunch more.
What a time.
They haul ass down the street and end up running into a basement where they change into the clothes that they stole. And what I wrote is, Kirk looks real hot, and Spock looks like he's just wearing Leonard Nimoy's clothes.
Yeah, probably.
So,
yes.
They're talking relatively loudly about making a computer, because Spock he like recorded some stuff on his tricorder when Bones was about to jump through, and he thinks that he can figure out what was changed or what happened, whatever, if they can get back access to it. But they need like a computer to somehow access it, whatever. I don't know. So they have to build a computer, and it's going to be especially difficult because computers were not a thing in the 30s. Alan Turing didn't pass the Turing test until 1945. He didn't make a computer that could compute things until 1945. So
he should have made that test that he named after himself a lot easier. So he could pass it sooner.
I mean, maybe. And Spock says that he can't do it with primitive tech. So Kirk razzes him and says that he was expecting too much of him, and he looks genuinely hurt for a second, which is pretty cute.
Because like, I think like the Vulcan side of Spock knows that he's like being played into trying.
Yeah.
But the human side of him is falling for it.
Yeah. So the human side of him is like, oh yeah? A woman catches them in her basement, and
I wrote in my notes, oh crap, it's a pretty woman.
Oh no, a beautiful woman.
Who's actually played by Dame Joan Collins.
Oh.
If you know the name Joan Collins, she was in stuff. I'm not going to read it all, but she was in stuff.
What was like the one biggest one?
Nope.
Okay. So Kirk says that they're hiding from the cold, and she's like, it's hot out. And he's like, all right, you got me. Actually, she says, a lie is a poor way to say hello, which I think is a good lie. It's a good line. Way to go. Then he tells her the truth. He says that they stole the clothes that they're wearing because they don't have any money and they were running from the police, which she buys because it's the Depression. So not having money is not unique.
So my favorite part of this bit where they meet each other is he says, "My name is Jim Kirk, and this is," long pause,
Spock.
"Spock." He couldn't think of anything.
He didn't bother coming up. He could have said any other crew member's name,
Yeah,
and he just didn't.
he's Chinese.
He should have said Sulu. I mean, Sulu's Japanese, but she doesn't know. She's a
She doesn't
social worker
know.
in the 30s. She
She
doesn't know the
doesn't
difference.
know. Yeah.
So she offers them a job. Spock asks how much it pays, and I said, in this scene, his makeup does look really, really bad. I don't think we were supposed to see it this high def. It looks he's caked up and not in
I
a
think it's
good
because
way.
he was just running around in the heat.
It's possible too.
They made him put on a jacket.
She says that it's going to pay 15 cents an hour for 10 hours a day. And I said, God damn, 10 hours a day? 15 cents is like probably fine back then, but 10 hours a day? Golly. Hell no.
15 cents.
Uh,
Back
she,
in my day, 15
she,
cents an hour.
they
Go
agreed
ahead.
to it and they start cleaning out this dirty ass basement. And she then tells them that her name is Edith Keeler and that this is the 21st Street Mission. It's a homeless shelter with a bunch of other guys in it who, frankly, could probably also have used a job, but we won't talk about that. Sometime later, upstairs, Kirk sits down to enjoy a bowl of soup with a hunk of bread. Edith comes into the room, and a grumpy old shitty man sitting next to Kirk is like, you have to pay for the food by listening to her talk about her dumb bullshit. And Kirk's like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
I,
Let the pretty woman talk.
this episode,
Meanwhile, I'm here
being
saying,
good
dude,
to
you're getting soup and bread in the Depression. You should shut up.
That's what I'm saying. But then you think that she's gonna play music because she walks up to a piano and like puts some papers on it. But
It's a trick.
it's a trick. It's a trap. What she actually does is she talks about the hope and future of mankind, and she starts talking about like, you should live, make sure to live and fight and press on and do all this stuff because someday we're gonna harness the atom and fly through the stars. And Kirk and Spock are like, "Ayo,
Wait a minute.
ayo, what's going on with this lady? Ayo."
She got harnessing atomic power correct, and then she got space travel not shortly after correct.
I mean, I'm just saying.
So at this point, I was like, all right, either she's a wizard or also a time traveler. What's going on? But
I
no,
thought
she's just like a Nostradamus.
I thought there was a chance that she had already spoken to Bones.
Oh, Bones has been here for 7 years and he's married.
Uh,
That's how he changed history.
who does anyone in your story have, or any of your in your family have like stories of living through the Depression?
No. The oldest relative that I've ever talked to, my grandmother, and she was born in 47. So no.
Oh, it's just you missed it.
She didn't like I'm sure my great grandmother did it,
Yeah,
but I don't know no stories from her. She died when I was little.
fair.
Do you got anything? Any familial
Well, yeah,
stories?
I was gonna say because the bit where she's like, "Oh, you gotta push on, you gotta live through this." It reminded me. So my grandpa, he was a kid, like a little kid, when the
Mm,
Depression was happening, and his family was not well off, but they owned land. They were farmers, so they were able to rent out the rooms in the farmhouse to other people to
yeah.
like make up a little bit of money and survive. But his dad, I guess my grandfather, had lost his job. And so he like could not find work and he was so depressed about it that he ended up killing himself. He hung himself in their barn.
Damn.
And so they ended up like his mom basically turned their farmhouse into like a little hotel to take care of people and give them a place to live while also taking in enough rent to keep them afloat. And they actually used all of the rooms to the point where my grandpa and his brother Ed had to sleep on like a second floor balcony that
Huh.
they like caged in with basically like chicken wire, and they would cover it in canvas in the winter when it got cold.
Mm.
For two reasons: one, they didn't have any other room, and also because at the time they believed that like exposure to open night air would help fend off tuberculosis.
Oh, did it?
He never got tuberculosis, and
All right, there you go.
he lived to be 91, and Ed lived to be 93. So hey,
Hey,
I'm just saying,
yeah, open night air.
you gotta get out at night more, I guess.
Guess so.
So Kirk and Spock talk about how none of that stuff will be invented for a really long time, and Kirk says, "I find her most intriguing," or something. I forget exactly what word he uses. Unusual, maybe? I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't remember hot is what he means. He means
Yeah,
hot.
he means that she is hot. After dinner, she stops Kirk and says that he did a really good job in the basement, and I'm sure it was mostly Spock, but whatever.
It was definitely mostly Spock.
And she asks him if he has a place to live or to
Kirk
sleep.
definitely pulled some fucking oh god, Tom Sawyer. Pulled some
Oh,
Tom Sawyer shit on Spock down in the basement.
oh, 100%. I thought you were just gonna be like, oh, he's doing the group project thing, but yeah, no, for sure.
Hey, don't ever get in a group project with Tom Sawyer.
Don't ever get into a group project with Skyler.
One time that happened.
So Edith asks if they have a place to sleep. She calls it a flop, and he doesn't know what that is. And she says that there's an open room at the place where she stays that's for like $2 a week. So they get that place, and then he goes up to Spock and he's like, "We have a flop," and he's like, "A what?" Like he just learned this term 5 seconds ago, and he's already weaponizing it against his friend.
Yeah. It's like, don't you know, idiot?
So some amount of time later, they end up going to the flop and getting an apartment basically.
Mm-hmm.
And some amount of time later, Kirk and Spock are arguing about money. Kirk comes in with like some groceries and then a bag full of like radio transistors and whatever he has. And Spock is like, I need a block of platinum. And Kirk is like,
Yeah.
I bought a baguette. Hey,
What
it's
Kirk's
the depression.
Kirk's response is genuinely really funny.
It's so good.
He's like, I spent like a third of our earnings to get us this food. I spent the rest of it buying you all this other crap that you're
Yeah.
building this computer with. This bag does not have a block of platinum in it, nor will it in the future. It's not happening.
We're not gonna find like a pound of platinum.
Even if we had the money to buy it,
Where
who's selling it?
the hell are we gonna find a block of platinum in 30s New York?
Spock doesn't know that. He's just like, oh, that's what I need.
Spock says Kirk is asking for too much. Kirk is asking too much of him. He's asking him to make a computer with stone knives and bear skins. And then Edith walks in and he just immediately offloads the same joke onto Edith.
Yeah,
She's
but like,
what the hell are you doing?
but he uses the joke to like it's weaponized against Kirk too. He's like, see,
Yeah.
I could call you an asshole too.
Yeah. Fuck you, Kirk.
There's really good Kirk and Spock stuff in this.
It's so good.
Really good.
Afterwards, they see a guy using precision tools. So Spock picks the lock on his car and steals them. And Edith, I guess, saw it because she immediately confronts them about it down in the basement. And the way she talks about it, it seems like she's maybe going to fire them. But then Kirk convinces her that Spock is going to return them in the morning or when he's done with them or something. And she's like, okay, I believe you, but you have to walk me home and answer my questions. And I was like, she just wanted a date.
Damn.
While they're walking home, or sorry, no, this is before they walk home. She's explaining sort of why she wants to ask them questions. And she says something like, it's clear that you're not like from around here. Like you're from very far away. And he's like, where do you think we're from? And she says, well, Spock is from by your side. He says captain even when he doesn't say captain.
Yeah.
And you are from somewhere else. It's just another point in favor of her being like really intuitive.
He's got some sort of psychic ability. I swear to God, she's not just
she's an
smart
oracle.
or like she pays attention. She's getting the things right that she really shouldn't.
Yeah. They walk home holding hands, which is 30's second base.
That's lewd.
Yeah. And she asks if Kirk is served because he's being called a captain. And he says yes, but doesn't say like any really other details, I don't believe. And then
because he doesn't remember what wars have happened already.
Yeah, and then she says something like, "Whatever you're up to, like let me help you." And he says, there's a novelist who will theorize that those three words are more impactful and more meaningful than "I love you." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, who is this novelist?" And he's like, "He's from fucking space, dude, and he's not gonna write the book for like 100 years."
Yeah, he's just saying it.
He points to a star and he's like, "He's from over there." And Edith is like, "Huh? All right."
He rolls with it though. She's like, cool.
Yeah. They just kind of laugh about it. And then Spock is back in the flop working on his computer and he sees that Edith is going to die.
Lady is die.
The computer sort of like fizzles out, and then Kirk comes in and finds Spock looking honestly a little dejected. And I don't know if it's because Edith is going to die or because his computer died.
It's
And
probably because he knows Jim and he knows what Jim is up to, and he knows that he has to tell his friend that pretty lady's going to
his
die.
girlfriend is going to die.
Yeah.
Uh, he shows him a different newspaper clipping that says Edith is going to meet with the president in like 6 years. Oh, and then his computer burns out again. I think I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Goes up in smoke.
he tells her. So he's like, oh, so she's like really important. She's going to meet with the president. And he's like, well, I also saw another one that said that she's going to die this year in a traffic accident. We don't know which one is supposed to happen. But your girlfriend is the flux point on which our history is dictated. And they talk about it a little bit. They're like, Bones is high as shit. Maybe he kills her. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's like driving the car or something.
It's behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him.
No, not when he's high on cortisoid or whatever it was. Spock says, he basically says, what if she has to die? And Kirk like stares into the camera as we go to commercial. And I was like, oh my God. After the break, Bones shows up in an alley screaming about assassins. And then he says, I'm not going to kill you, which is the most that guy's going to kill me thing I think anyone could say while looking the way he looks.
If a sweaty, pocked man starts screaming, I'm not going to kill you while chasing you down an alleyway.
I'm not going to kill you. They're going to kill you.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
Wait, come back here. I'm not going to kill you. They're going to kill you.
By the way, it turns out that guy is going to die.
Yeah, well. So Bones catches him and starts groping the homeless man. He like grabs his dick and then takes his hat off and starts groping his head too. And he's like talking. He's like, oh, he's a bipedal man. Enough cranial space for a brain. And then he starts having a full mental breakdown because he's like, oh, it's just like the 30s. They used to use sutures and needles back then. Oh, they used to sew people like garments, which is a horrible mental image.
Yeah. You know what I like about that? We make fun of Bones a lot, and rightfully so.
Right, yeah,
but
for sure.
This is not the first time he's talked about how like barbaric like old medicine was. Like you could tell it really bothers him.
For sure. Yeah. Which is good. I mean, you know, it's good to know that their medicine has moved past the need of sutures even. Like that's pretty cool. But he like kind of knocks out. I don't know if he like falls asleep or what, but whatever. The homeless man is able to take his phaser, and then he pushes a button on him, and I think it's supposed to be the one that turns it into a bomb, but instead he like disintegrates.
The guy, he robs him, takes his gun, and just accidentally kills himself.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, dude.
There's no other explanation for what that is. He just killed himself.
I'm also not sure, but I think it might be the same one that was sitting next to Kirk at the soup kitchen and like
I think it is. I think
it's the same guy.
So he's an asshole at least.
Yeah. I mean, he probably didn't deserve that, but apparently his death doesn't impact history. So
no, let's talk about that now. We never circle back to a homeless man blew himself up.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
He's just gone. So that guy had no effect on history,
Turns
and
out.
I'm not. Like, I wouldn't say, well, of course he didn't. He's a bum. Like, let's not presume. Like, maybe he could have written Harry Potter for all we know.
Yeah, it was written by.
He could have been a less problematic author of Harry Potter.
So Kirk walks Edith to her room, and she's talking about how like men are gonna walk on the moon someday.
He needs to stop.
It's like, okay, all right, bud. And then Kirk goes and talks to Spock about how apparently it's going to take 2 days to fix the computer and they won't be able to get any more information until then. And then the next day, Bones comes walking into the 21st Street mission looking straight up like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And Edith gives him some coffee and a cot to sleep on and starts taking care of him. Next day, I guess.
Which in the 30s, like that's a cure-all, and it works.
Apparently so. The next day, because it must be 2 days later, Spock has fixed the computer and he sees Edith is apparently going to create a pacifist movement that will delay America entering into World War II, which will then mean that the Nazis are able to finish their hard water project first, making them the first people to own nuclear weapons, which they then use to take over the world. So this woman living turns the world into a Nazi tyranny camp.
Because she is preaching peace.
Yeah.
And they even say in the episode, she was right, but at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the best way to put this instead of just pieces for pussies.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Fuck yeah, America.
Fuck yeah, America. You gotta shoot them all. It does make me wonder, like, did Pearl Harbor still happen? Because that was what pushed us into World War II. So I guess maybe the pacifist movement was just like, well, you know, boys will be boys.
Maybe either A, Pearl Harbor happened and the pacifist movement was like, we must not retaliate. Or B, the pacifist movement was happening and then Japan was like, they're pacifists. We don't even need to worry about them.
That's possible too. And then Spock hits us with the most metal line in Star Trek history. He says, Edith Keeler must die.
You think there's like a song with that title?
It could be a band name for sure.
I'm gonna Google that right now. I'm gonna look up Edith Keeler must die.
Kirk tells Spock that he thinks he's in love with Edith. And
okay. Can I read you my notes from that part?
Okay.
Once he said that?
Yeah.
Kirk says he's in love. Too bad. What the fuck is wrong with you? You absolutely horny ape man. You stupid man. I hate you, Kirk. Holy shit.
Why? She's great. He's allowed to be in love with her.
I have nothing against her. I do not believe for a second Kirk feels love.
I think he does. I think he genuinely does.
He's been here a few weeks, granted, but like he's groping every woman that he sees, and I feel like when he said that, I'm willing to I'm willing to believe it. But when he said it, I was like, of course you fucking are, you bastard.
But I think he genuinely does, because we see him do a couple of things in this episode that we don't see him do in other places, which he puts down misogyny when there's that homeless guy. Like, he is actively defending her against these people. He's also like genuinely spending actual time with her. He's like walking her home, and they're gonna like go to a movie, like they're going on dates. Like, I think he really genuinely does have feelings for this woman, because I think that she is remarkable to him. Like, she is able to sort of predict the future, and she is so genuine and kind and trusting, and I think that means a lot to him. Like, she is a person who would be considered optimistic and hopeful even in the future that he's from, and he's gone back to the worst time in American history, and she's still that. Like, she hasn't she's still that even then. So I think he is a weird candidate for it, because he has had like 6 other girlfriends, which I guess is sort of the crux of the show, is he is gonna, I'm sure, kiss other girls literally 2 episodes from now. But I really think that he has real genuine feelings for her in a way that I don't think we've seen him have with anyone else at this point.
I really, what saves it is that it his feelings for her just does pull the episode together at the end.
Yeah.
When things that happen. But definitely by the time that he said, like, because Spock is like, this needs to happen because this is gonna fix the time stream, and then everything will be back to normal.
Yeah.
And Nazis won't rule the planet, and the Federation can still exist, and all of our friends won't be stuck on a rock planet with a time travel obelisk. And then he's like, I think I love her though.
I think I'm like kind of
just like, no, actually. Spock should have smacked him. I'm mad at Kirk. I'm not mad at Edith. By the way,
yeah,
Edith Keeler Must Die is a song written by an artist named Aragon Starr.
Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to
that. Yeah, I don't know if it's good.
At some other time, Bones wakes up on his cot at the mission, and he's looking a lot better. And he says, "It looks like 1925." And Edith says, try 30.
Yes, try 30, idiot.
And she offers to introduce him to a friend that talks a lot like him, but he sort of cuts her off before she can say Kirk's name. And he says...
You know what else I took note of here?
Ah.
Around this time, maybe like a minute or so off, I wrote in my notes, how are we going to wrap this up in 6 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Because I paused.
We're like
at the end.
Yeah, we're like done almost.
Yeah.
What I wrote is Bones is really bad at like controlling information. He doesn't know where he is, and he's immediately
No.
like, "Here's everything about me, and I'm from the
Yeah.
future. Uh,
And
I'm a
and
naval
Edith
officer
is
on the Enterprise."
so accepting of it. She is
Yeah,
far too accepting of crazy future people.
yeah. It's
Because I
her
think
kink,
she
it
was
turns
born
out.
to be a crazy future person.
He says that he's a Navy officer or something, and she's like, "That is not a Navy uniform," and he's like, he says, "That's okay. I don't believe in you either," because he thinks that all of this is like a hallucination caused by his overdose, which is probably
Yeah.
fair. Later at the apartment complex, Kirk saves Edith from falling down the stairs, and he walks off feeling really conflicted about it. And Spock is like, "Hey man, you she could have died right there, and then we could have been done." And it's
Yeah,
like,
we could have gone
Spock, I
home.
understand what you're saying, but also weird time, dude. Like,
We should,
we're talking about a woman dying,
Captain. I think we should kill her.
and you know how she's supposed to die, and that wasn't it. Like, I get it,
We should
I get it.
we should kill her with hammers. Spock can go get in a car and crash through the mission.
Oh my!
And just
If that's how this episode had turned out, I would have put this episode very low in my rankings. I would have been genuinely upset. Oh,
No, this episode ends perfectly.
the episode where Spock does a murder. Edith brings Bones a paper, and he doesn't read it because he still thinks it's hallucination. And he offers to help her, presumably in a medical way, with like some of the other people who are suffering. And she says he's kind of flirting with her, and then she's like, "Oh well, I'm going on a date to go see a Clark Gable movie," and he's like, "Oh, you're going on a date, huh?" Like he's like a little bit
He gets
disappointed
mad.
that she's seeing somebody else.
He gets
But then
mad.
also he doesn't know who Clark Gable is, which is like probably
Well,
fair. He's from 100 million years from the future, but still.
so here's something funny about that
Uh,
is she probably wouldn't know by then who Clark Gable was either.
well, she knows about the moon
Um,
landing, so
oh, that's true. Yeah, she's really in the know about everything. So she would know, sure. But there was a thing in the original script. They like I think they wrote Clark Gable, but they were like, well, this was 1930 was a little before his time, so he wouldn't have been a name yet. And so they changed it to a different name, but then some other producer stepped in and was like, I don't give a shit. People know who Clark Gable is and not that other guy, so put
yeah.
Clark Gable.
Our
And yeah,
audience won't know who this other guy is.
there's the yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But how many people listening know who Clark Gable is?
Yeah,
That's
leave a
the real
comment if you know
question.
who Clark Gable is. What's your favorite
Do you
Clark
know?
Gable movie?
Mm.
On their date, she says something about Kirk. Kirk says something, and she says, "Oh, you know, Dr. McCoy said the same thing." And he grabs her, and he's like, "What?
What?
Leonard McCoy?" And he runs back across the street as Bones comes out, and they hug each other, and it's like pretty exciting for a second. It's like, oh, my boys are back together. But then Edith starts walking across the street and is unfortunately hit by a truck.
Damn.
Kirk is like holding on to Bones, and he's like, Bones is like mad at him. He's like, I could
Oh yeah,
have
he's
saved
got
her.
no idea.
Like you stopped me from being able to save this woman's life. Do you know what you just did? And Spock's like, yeah, he knows exactly. And then Kirk sort of wanders off a little bit, and he leans up against a wall, and he's like shaking, and he's doing everything but crying because men are not allowed to cry in the 60s or the 30s.
No.
Um,
Or the future.
they jump back through the portal because now time has been reset. So now they're back at the time that they left. Everyone else is still standing there. They say it's only been a couple of seconds. Uhura says that the Enterprise is back and asks if they want to beam up. And Kirk says, let's get the hell out of here.
So that is also an interesting thing too.
He said
I
a
don't
swear.
believe- He
Well,
did say a swear.
They've said hell
So-
before, but
Apparently TOS they say the word hell like 4, maybe 5 times.
well, yeah, because there's that one. What episode is that? Is it the Khan episode? They say the line from, I think it's Paradise Lost or whatever. They say it's better to rule in hell than serve in heaven or something. Like
Yeah.
I remember they said that. Like they definitely say hell at other points, but
I guess-
but in those
guess
instances you're saying hell as the
that
location.
context is like a biblical thing, and that
Yeah.
you get a pass there. But like saying it as
A swear.
like a swear word here, apparently producers were like, let's not have him say that. We don't want him to say that. And then somebody stood their ground. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was Roddenberry or someone else, but they're like, no, he's gonna say it.
Yeah, I think it's correct. I think that is the right place to use it. This is the best episode of Star Trek. This is
Yeah,
so
hands
good.
down.
It's so
Yeah,
good. Um,
that's what the people say.
everybody gets something to do. Sulu is in the episode. Scotty is in the episode. Uhura is in the episode. They don't involve in a lot of it, but we remember that we have a full crew that can do things,
Hmm.
which is great. And then
Separatist travel.
we get to the time travel part of it. It doesn't feel hokey. There is like an ultimately powerful space being, but it doesn't feel bad. They make it
It
work.
it's not an ultimate powerful godlike space being because it is just there and it provides a service. It does not
Right.
talk down to
Yeah.
us. It does not say, "Here's how you must live,
Yeah.
stupid, primitive, whatever."
It does call them primitive
It
at
is.
one point, but
It's not
it's
even.
largely a machine. Yeah.
It's not even the problem. It
No,
is just there.
it is the means for a problem to happen. It's a
Yeah.
tool.
Mhm.
And then you get back in time. Clearly, the budget is there. It feels like they knew this one was going to be more important than a lot of the other episodes, and I think they were right.
Mhm.
I think the acting is not that it's necessarily bad in other episodes, but I think it is on a new strata in this. Like
Yeah.
his relationship with Edith is really good. I think their chemistry there is great, but also his relationship with Spock in this episode is great. I think that
Sure.
there are so many little character moments between them that are great. Like I can't talk about this episode enough. Like genuinely, and I haven't watched the other two seasons, so I don't know. But uh, this is the only Star Trek that I've watched realistically. If I was going to tell a person who had not watched any Star Trek, like if you're going to watch only one episode of Star Trek, it should be this one. Like
This is the one.
this is the episode.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
in love with this episode. If
Yeah.
we do rankings later, this is like spoilers. This is my number one. We may as well go from top to bottom because I'm already telling you this is number one.
See, I've been keeping rankings in my mind throughout just to have a top 5 by the time that we're done. This is definitely up there. I don't know if me personally, I just had more fun or enjoyed Balance of Terror more. I don't know which one's 1 or 2 for me.
That's
But
I
like
do
this is
yeah. That's a good one too.
I think this one's definitively it's really good. It's really good. I would honestly need to rewatch Balance of Terror again to know for sure. But it's really good. And making this episode had so much goddamn drama behind it.
Oh yeah.
There was a shit show in the writers' room. So this episode was written by we're in my trivia now officially, even though
Nice.
I've been throwing trivia out all over the goddamn shop. Um, this was written by a science fiction writer named Harlan Ellison, whose original version was like really different. Not just I think like it flowed basically the same, and when we got to I didn't read the full mock-up of the original version, but I think like everything in the past was more or less the same. The big difference that I noticed was it wasn't Bones that went back in time. There was like another Starfleet officer who was like up to some crook shit, and they like originally took him down to the planet to execute him by firing squad. And I
Oh.
was like, "Whoa, hang on!" I was like, "That is not Star Trek
Yeah,
at
that does
all."
not feel like Star Trek. No.
Um, this guy Harlan Ellison was so pissed off because of the rewrites. His quote was, "They took a chainsaw to the script." He was so mad at the rewrites that Roddenberry made. He said, "Quote: It's precisely the kind of dopey utopian bullshit that Roddenberry loves, and that Roddenberry had, quote, about as much writing ability as the lowest industry hack."
All right.
So this guy had a real bug up his butt.
He was also
Um,
just wrong because this is
uh,
a phenomenal episode.
William Shatner recalled that he attempted to talk to Harlan Ellison during the writing dispute to try to calm things down. According to Shatner, Ellison responded by yelling at him. I believe it, but I also like take it with a grain of salt because Shatner, does he like tell Hulk Hogan lies sometimes? Yeah, maybe. And then another thing, part of Harlan Ellison's little baby fit was that he had a pseudonym, as many writers do,
Sure.
that he likes to use whenever he basically disowned some of his writing that got like rewrote or something. An Alan Smithy, basically. He had a pseudonym called Cordwainer Bird.
Is that a bad name? It's a bad one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he would come up with a bad name for stuff that he thought that he didn't like, I guess.
Well, maybe he's just
But
not a good writer. You ever
but
consider
Gene
that?
Roddenberry, he flat out denied the pseudonym request because this guy was like a name in the science fiction community, and he wanted other science fiction writers to know that, like, you can come work for us. Look, we put this guy on TV.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
mad at us and he's an asshole, but
But if he wouldn't
like,
even put
look,
his name
come
on it, then other people
and
would feel some
and
kind
it
of way
gives
about it.
gives Star Trek some weight as far as like who has written for Star Trek before. So he was like, "No, we're gonna use your name, idiot. That's the whole reason you're here."
Yeah.
He actually threatened to have him blacklisted from the Writers Guild of America if he demanded the pseudonym used.
Wow.
So a lot of big drama, which resulted in, as you said, probably the best episode of Star Trek.
A really damn good episode. It's honestly one of the better episodes of television that I've seen in a long time. Like I don't know when exactly I would put that, but my point being, it really stands the test of time. Like, this is an episode that is every bit as impactful now as I hope it was back then. I guess I can't say for sure that people loved it in the 60s. But it's definitely great now.
I disagree with the notion that science fiction needs to be dour and depressing. Like saying like, oh, Roddenberry's a hack because his stuff is idealistic and future utopia, whatever. It's just like, that's a vision of the future that we should strive for, and it's uplifting. That's like the point of Star Trek. And if you don't get that, you don't get that, I guess.
Well, and also I would say there's plenty of things in this series that have been not that. Like, one episode ago, we trapped a guy in an infinite purgatory of fighting himself. Like, we had a thing where people were walking into disintegration chambers to kill themselves because of a war that nobody even knew why they were doing it. Like, there's so many things, and I think I think the overarching theme is probably optimistic. I think the idea of, like, you know, we have all this new technology and we're going to use it to try and like make the world a better place. Like, sure, yeah, that's absolutely there. But when you break down the actual episodes and like really think about it at all, like, no, there's plenty of super dark shit happening in these episodes. I think it is incredibly short-sighted to be like, Roddenberry's a hack because his stuff is optimistic. It's like, have you watched the show?
That's just definitely just the words of someone who was just mad, just very angry.
He had some sour grapes, and that's all it was.
I did see another note that said he did not like the Chinese and rice picker bits being added. He didn't like the comedy, which okay. Well, the Chinese for comedy thing, that's a different conversation.
Sure. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sure that his complaint was not the obvious issue with it.
No, no.
That he didn't want a joke in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize that Gene Roddenberry was the James Gunn of their time. There's too many jokes in this. You gotta take crypto out. It's too much. Ugh. But yeah, hey, not that I think it needs to be said, but yeah, this is obviously an engage for me. Did you already say it was an engage for you?
Engage.
For sure. Would you like to move on to the final episode of season 1?
Final episode, season 1, Operation Annihilate.
Operation Annihilate. It's hard to come on the heels of this episode. But we'll see how it did at it.
Yeah, let's just jump into it.
This episode begins, again, get this, on the Enterprise, approaching a planet called Deneva. Uhura hasn't been able to contact anyone on the planet, and Kirk gives her a privately owned, basically, phone number for her to call to see if she can get in contact with that one instead. And she also doesn't seem to be able to get it, at least at the point. Spock then tells them all that there's been a pattern of mass insanity that's been moving basically in a straight line through the galaxy, through at least 3 other planets.
Now, did you also take a second to ponder that? Mass insanity?
I was definitely like, what does that mean? Is that a disease? Yeah. Is that... But I was also watching this episode pretty late, so... Sulu picks up a ship, like, on their scanners, that is flying directly into the sun. It's not out of control, it's just choosing to do that. And they try to catch it, but they can't get into tractor beam distance before it starts burning up. And they hear the pilot say, "I did it, it's finally gone, I'm free," right before the ship basically explodes. I do feel like they could have maybe beamed the guy out of there.
It was too fast.
It was too fast.
It was too hot, too close to the sun.
Bones
There might have been
then,
some gravitational thing with this. They
yeah,
didn't say it.
they didn't say
I'm filling
nothing,
in
but
lines that they didn't.
it don't
You
really
know,
matter.
no, that guy's gone.
Bones walks
He did
up
a full Icarus.
and he asks Kirk, "Hey, isn't your brother stationed on Deneva?" And then commercial. After the commercial, Spock and Scotty tell Kirk basically just about the planet, and they say they're like, oh, it used to be used for like a trucking lane of some kind. They've set up a colony, whatever. But they say that it hasn't been contacted by the Federation in over a year, which I guess does leave room that process could have still been going on for some amount of time, but just the Federation wasn't involved in it. I don't know. I did note that was a weird thing to specify. It doesn't come up again, but Uhura gets activity on the private scanner, the private transmitter. It's a woman who starts saying, basically like, you have to help us over and over again.
Yeah.
But she gets cut off, and Kirk is like, you gotta get her back, and her's like, that's not how it works. Like, she hung up. Like, I can keep calling it and hope that she answers, but that's not how this works. Kirk says, well, Bones asks if he knew the girl, and he says that it's probably his brother's wife, Arulin, something like that. When they get to the planet, Kirk makes a landing party consisting of himself, Spock, Bones, a yeoman named Zara, and a background character whose name is apparently Bobby. Spock reads that there are the correct number of life signs on the planet, but that it's weirdly quiet. They then beam down to the capital city, which appears to be in the middle of an art museum.
Yeah, I did not take note of this. Was at a. Keep going. Let me look up where this was.
I mean, there was a lot of like statues, like weird modern art, sort of not statues of like people, but just like shapes and shit. After a minute, 4 dudes come running out from around a corner, yelling that they don't want to hurt them, but they're also swinging these like glass canes around. So the landing crew immediately stuns them with their phasers. And then McCoy scans them and says that the stun guys are still too active. He says it's like their nervous system is being overstimulated, despite the fact that they are unconscious.
This was shot at the headquarters of TRW Space and Defense Park in Redondo Beach, California.
Huh.
So
I would have
out.
guaranteed I thought it was like a botanical garden or a museum or something.
Actually, there were some establishing shots that were shot the buildings on campus of UCLA.
Oh, wow.
So that's fun.
They hear a woman screaming, and they run off to find a woman holding like a metal thing against the wall and saying, they're here. And then Kirk runs in, and she falls away. And it turns out that is his brother's wife. His brother is dead, and his son is unconscious.
I did initially take note of the fact that Shatner grabbed the first woman he saw, but at least he's related to this one, kind of.
Yeah.
But then also, on the floor, there's a dead Shatner with a mustache.
A dead Shatner with a mustache. He does look quite a bit like him. I wouldn't be surprised if the casting
it's him.
was like, oh, it's literally him.
It's literally William Shatner.
Oh, I just assumed it was like a bad body or like a body double or something.
They slapped a mustache on him, put some heavy face makeup on him, and then just show him for like a split second. And they're like, okay, there he was.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kirk grabs Arulin, and then she's like screaming and crying, but not necessarily in a way that is unreasonable considering that her husband is currently dead. But for some reason, Bones sedates her, which I didn't love.
His go-to move.
Bones and Spock give condolences to Kirk for himself with a mustache being dead.
That's a bummer.
There's
a running thing with Star Trek captains having dead brothers.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Huh. Kirk will not be the last.
Oh my god. Then they find that it looks like something was trying to break in through a vent. And despite the fact that, which they're surprised about because when they did their like scans of the planet, there was no other like unexpected or dangerous life forms detected. Bones recommends Kirk go back to the ship to be there when the woman wakes up, and so he does. In medbay, Bones is waiting for some results to come back to figure out what's wrong with them. And hey, Nurse Chapel's here.
Where were you a minute ago? Come on.
Nurse Chapel's
we needed
back.
You yesterday.
Arulin and Peter have been heavily sedated for pain, which they are apparently suffering quite badly from. But Arulin is resistant to it, and so she's still awake, but just kind of out of it.
Yeah.
So Kirk tells her that Sam, his brother, is dead, but Peter is okay. And she tells Kirk that some things came to the planet 8 months ago on a ship from Ingram B, which is one of the planets that Spock had mentioned earlier.
Presumably one of the last
Yeah.
planets in the line.
She starts experiencing like really crazy, even more pain, and so drugs bones her. Sorry, drugs bones her more. Bones drugs her more. That was a bad two words to swap.
It's okay.
The
That's yeah.
oops. And she's able to give them some more answers. She's able to tell them that the creatures use people as like puppets, and they are forcing them to build ships, I guess, so they can spread to more planets. And that they use pain. Well, she doesn't tell them this, but Bones realizes that every time she tries to answer a question, she is being put through more pain, and they sort of theorize correctly that whatever it is that is controlling them is using pain to do so.
That sucks.
So she begs Kirk not to let the monsters go any further, but the pain of doing so, I guess, kills her. So Kirk looks over to Peter, the kid, and Bones says that he'll do everything he can. And I had two things that I wrote here. Number one, I wrote, this seems counterintuitive to a parasite. It seems like a parasite would want their host to stay alive. It seems weird that they would kill them with pain for not answering. We'll find out later that, like, I guess it kind of still makes sense because it's like a hive mind type situation. And so maybe one individual one dying is... But at the moment, I was like, that's weird. But then what I also wrote is Shatner must have had a pretty easy time, or maybe not an easy time, but he must have had a lot to tap into in this episode, because this is an episode about his family dying, and it's filmed like 4 episodes after his dad actually died.
Yeah, that's correct. We what episode was that where we talked about that?
It was Devil's in the Dark, or The Devil in the Dark.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So
the way things work.
So I was like, wow. That explains why I think his acting in this episode is also quite good, and I think that maybe he's able to tap into that. He's getting, I think, getting better.
I was going to say this in the last one. When Shatner's good, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah. When he doesn't go to 11 and 12.
There's a reason that James T. Kirk stands the test of time. It's because Shatner put in some good work when he wanted to.
Yeah. There's definitely areas in which he does not stand that test of time. But I do think when he is kept in check and he's not like hamming it up super hard, he is really good. He is genuinely a good actor. So Kirk, with his sister-in-law now dead, rejoins the landing party, knowing that there's creatures around. But the landing party hasn't seen them or anybody else, and the people who they knocked out earlier are now missing. And they're going to go investigate a weird buzzing noise that they've been hearing. So that's what we're doing. Kirk orders the party to set the phasers to kill because he's done screwing around. And he said there's some monster here that has already killed people and is willing to do so again. So we have to be ready to kill it when it shows up. They follow the buzzing sound to some weird blobs of flesh that are stuck to the walls and ceiling inside. I still wrote an art museum, but I guess a college.
Yeah. The first one that we see makes a little certain high-pitched sound.
They're making little like gurgly baby noises a little bit.
It was kind of, it wasn't like what you'd expect from a stock fart sound, but it sounded kind of farty.
It was a little farty, that is true.
So I've referred to these things in my notes a couple times as flying little fart flaps.
That's a lot of words. I wrote chicken cutlets.
Oh, that's pretty good. I did
because they look like raw chicken for people who didn't watch the episode.
I changed it to something else. Oh yeah, pancakes. I did just start calling them pancakes at one point.
Oh, that's fair.
Because when they fall, they just kind of flop straight to the ground.
They do just kind of fall on the ground. The party starts shooting at him, but it doesn't seem to have a ton of effect. One of them does fall to the ground, but the rest of them just kind of don't care. Spock also notes that they don't register on the tricorder. So Kirk orders the team to leave. He's like, it's too closed in here. We gotta get away from these guys. And as soon as they start trying to leave, the one that they had knocked out flies off the ground, attaches to Spock's back, and he is now in extreme pain after Kirk helps him rip it out.
Spock has been flapped.
He's been flapped. I did
I love when
also.
these things are flying around, by the way.
I don't. I not that it
No,
looks
no.
bad, but I looked at them and I said, "How the fuck are these things moving?" Like,
Oh,
I think the design of them is very like it. They don't
gross.
feel like a living creature,
Oh,
which
sure.
I guess is kind of intentional, maybe. But
Yeah.
I just didn't love the way that these looked. I like the
I
episode in general. Like, I think their like idea of them is good. I just think their design is like, oh, we threw some
I
chicken cutlets on the wall.
I feel like I need to explain myself when I say I love the way these flew around.
Yeah, because they're funny.
They look like a plastic bag on some fishing wire that someone was just
Yeah.
swinging around,
Do you ever
and they
feel
and they
like
move
a
so
plastic?
fast.
They're so fast. It's
They
not safe. It's not fair.
they, they move so fast, and the one that lands on Spock's back has like a little spindly tail. He looks like a
Yeah.
gross malformed horseshoe crab.
The one that lands on when the one lands on Spock's back, I went, oh, they're a lot bigger than I thought they were.
Oh, they're disgusting.
Because
I love them.
when they're on the wall, they look like maybe they're like hand sized, but it takes up like most of his back. He's a grown ass man. He's pretty tall too.
I should be ranking these gross little alien things we get. This is below the rock eating monster from Devil in the Dark,
Oh, the Horta.
but this might be above the salt vampire.
Oh no, the Salt Vampire is iconic.
Salt vampire is pretty iconic, but I just these things are so fast. And I think once we learn what the concept is behind them, I thought that was really cool.
It depends on what we were ranking the monsters on. If we're ranking them on like ones I would least rather be in a fight with, then yes, these are more dangerous than the Salt Vampire. If it's in terms of like design, I'm going for Salt Vampire all day.
Okay, so we're ranking them. I'm ranking them like guys I would want to have a beer with.
Oh, Mary fuck
That's
kill.
how I. That's how I do all my important monster-based decisions.
Okay, yeah, I know. I do all mine through MFK. Mary
Okay,
F
okay,
kill.
okay.
Okay, so Mary F kill the Horta, the Salt Vampire, and the Chicken Cutlet.
I am not answering which one of those three I would F on this podcast.
Okay, well, it sounds
No,
like you're a
no,
coward.
sorry. Sure,
The
but
obvious
I'm not
answer is
putting
the
that
Salt
on the
Vampire
record.
because it's the only one that's even remotely humanoid, and because it
I
can
don't,
make itself look like a lady.
I don't want my salt sucked.
Who knows? Maybe it feels good.
I need my salt.
You've got plenty of salt to go around.
I need my salt.
We get another commercial break as we play MFK.
Hmm.
And then in the med bay, Bones examining a puncture wound on Spock's back with Chapel. They're like in surgery. And Spock keeps waking up from sedation. And it's unclear whether or not it's because he's in so much. They make a comment about they don't know whether or not it's because the monster is waking them up or because the pain is keeping them awake. You know?
I had a little nitpick about this bit. So
Yeah.
when Spock gets fart flapped,
Right.
when he gets the pancake stuck to his back, and they rip it off, there's no hole in his shirt. I was thinking like, I wish there was a little hole in his shirt, like it had like bit or like
Oh,
poked a hole
sure.
through his shirt.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking like, they almost certainly didn't do that because then every extra running around this planet would have need to had holes in their shirt.
That's a good point. Yeah. Although we only ever see the 4, so I guess it wouldn't have
Yeah.
been that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Bones wants to close up because he's opened up Spock's back to pull whatever out of it. And Chapel's like, there's still so much more of it. It's all the way, it's throughout his entire body. And Bones is like, we have to close him up. We're not going to be able to do it anymore. He's awake. And then on the bridge, Bones is showing Kirk a deli cup with some sausage casing in it. And he said,
Yeah, I said he's got some wet fluff in a
he's got
jar.
some wet fluff in a jar. And he says, the sting sends this into the like nervous system, and it wraps all the way around like all of that to control them. The speed at which it must grow is terrifying.
Ooh, it makes my veins feel funny.
Yeah.
The description of it is viscerally upsetting.
Oh yeah.
It's
Big
like,
time.
I can picture like a shot of the nervous system and just this like grotesque little like tendril wrapping itself through the body and just like squeezing, pulsating, making you feel intense pain at all times. That's rough.
I assumed it was
This is
like an acid thing, like it was releasing some kind of like toxin.
Oh, maybe it latches on with like little spindles onto your muscles and then just kind of like leaks acid onto you.
Yeah. It just fills you with lactic acid, so it feels like you've always just run a 5K.
Oh, damn. I mean, maybe if you got a little bit of that in your legs, that'd feel good sometimes.
Disagree. But basically, Bones says that they can't remove it surgically, and they frankly don't know what to do about it. He like consulted with some other people, and no one had any idea. So Spock wakes up in medbay. He throws the
This is
blanket off like it's
my
Christmas
favorite part
morning.
of the episode.
It's pretty good, honestly.
Christmas? No, 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 not for the reason, not for any real reason. You say it's Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Go back and rewatch Spock waking up in the med bay. Nurse Chapel is there. She's like, "Oh, Spock, you're awake." He bolts up, looks unsure, and bolts for the door at the speed of a man who has woken up with diarrhea.
Oh my god.
He has the exact cadence of bathroom now, and he just goes.
Is this something that you know well? This is an experience you've had a lot?
I think this is an experience every human on the planet has had at least once.
I don't think I've woken up with diarrhea.
Not during a flu, of just like, oh god, I gotta go to the bathroom.
I've been like laying on the couch and been like, I have to go to the bathroom right now. I don't think I've ever woken up from like sleep for the purpose of taking a dump.
Fuck. No, maybe not like been woken up by the need to. We're getting off track, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Not
Just
not
Spock's
waking.
bottom of this.
You're not woken up by the fact that you need to go to the bathroom, but you've got the flu and you feel like shit, and then you wake up just from sleep and you're like, am I still sick? And then you feel it. You're like, oh, I'm still sick, and you just go to the bathroom. That's what Spock did here.
That's gross. That's nasty.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he starts basically dead sprinting either to the bathroom or to the bridge, which is where he ends up.
He could have stopped at the bathroom on his way to the bridge, but he does go.
There
to
was
the
a
bridge.
cut. Who knows? Who knows? He could have stopped anywhere. So he breaks in. He's trying to do something on the bridge. I'm not really clear exactly what he says. Something, but I didn't catch it. I assume he's trying to like take the ship, either crash it or fly away.
Uh-huh.
And the whole bridge crew like starts fighting him and trying to like stop him from doing whatever he does, because we had gotten an announcement from somebody else that he had left medbay, and so they put out, Kirk had like just put out a thing that was like, hey, if you see him, stun his ass because he's not okay. And then immediately he breaks in.
Right.
It takes like 5 or 6 men to try and wrestle him to the ground, and while that's happening, he's like trying to nerve pitch Kirk, which is weirdly intimidating and like maybe a little funny, but it's a pretty good scene. I really enjoy it. They take him back to, they end up getting him to the ground and sedating him, because they do a lot of sedating in this episode. They take him back to medbay and tie him down with the restraints that are super strong and can't be broken by anybody. And then Bones says that there's a K3 indicator, which apparently is a thing that registers pain, and it is off the damn chart. It is insane. And he theorizes...
Registers pain. He invented the Scoville unit.
He invented the Scoville unit of pain. And he theorizes that it's a shame that Vulcans are mammalian, because only mammals can be affected by capsaicin and feel spicy food. There you go. There's your pointless fact for the day.
Get Spock on hot ones.
He theorizes that the pain basically causes people's minds to break under the pressure, and then they end up just doing whatever the thing wants. Spock wakes up and he apologizes, and he says that he can go back to work because he's a Vulcan, and he says pain is a thing of the mind, and I can control mine, or something.
Spock is strong, and he's going to try his best to control the parasite in his butt.
He doesn't have diarrhea.
He's got a parasite in his butt.
It's in his entire nervous system, so yeah, it definitely is also in his butt, unfortunately. Kirk decides to keep him confined a little bit longer, and see if he can control it, and maybe if he can, then they'll let him out later, and then they leave him alone. And they talk about how they have to find he's like, we have to find a cure for Spock and my nephew. And then Bones, I think unfairly, is like, well, what about all the people down on the planet? And it's like, okay, obviously, if we find the cure, we're going to give it to them too, Bones. We're literally in the middle of a fist fight with my first man. Like,
do you think unfairly, though? Because I think, listen, I gave Kirk some shit in the last episode, right? But a lot of times he does jump to his own personal like ties first. Like,
yeah.
Like he will always prioritize his giving a shit about like the hot lady or his family or whatever. I think Bones was simply reminding him like, it is your job to solve the whole thing.
Right. But I think it's
so
I don't think he's necessarily wrong. I think he is prioritizing the people that he cares most about in this situation. which I do
Mhm.
think is also like somewhat fair for him to do. He's a human being, but I think it is the assumption of Bones saying that, like the way he says it, is implies that he thinks that like he's only cares about it because people he cares about are infected with it, and I think that's not fair. Like we know that Kirk is a good guy who would want to cure this
Sure,
problem
yeah.
regardless of who is infected.
I don't
Um,
think
I
Bones
think
thinks that. I think
no,
he and
no,
Jim
I'm
know
sure
each
he
other
doesn't, but it's
well
just the
enough.
way he says it.
Sure. Well, Bones is an asshole.
He's a little bit of an asshole.
But I also think he's right here to be like, hey, just to remind you, Captain,
Yeah,
there's other people in trouble.
yeah. But fuck him, who cares about?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So anyway, they leave Spock alone, and he starts sort of reciting. I wrote a mantra, which is not exactly what it is, but he's saying like, "I am a Vulcan" over and over again. I guess to like trick, maybe like turn off the human side of him that can't control the pain as well, or something. And then he seems to get it under control, but then he immediately breaks out of his restraints, which
Oof,
does make me think he was probably already controlling it pretty well, because if he wanted to just break out to do whatever the thing was telling him to do, clearly he could have.
sure. Honestly, I thought this throughout the episode multiple times.
Yeah.
We we the perfect person for this parasite to get
Oh, for
as
sure.
far as like us
Yeah.
being able to handle it. Couldn't have gone better for us.
It really worked out. What can I say? Uh,
Especially by the end, but we'll get to that.
yeah. He goes to the transporter room, and unfortunately for him, the very knockoutable Kyle is not there, and instead it is Scotty and some other guy. And
Placed by our most handsome hero, Montgomery Scott, who stands on business.
he
Spock is like, I gotta go down to the planet, and Scotty says, "The fuck you do."
he says, "Hey, Captain Kirk said you can't, and nobody can. So no, you're not. He says specifically, he says, I'll put you to sleep for sure."
Ooh, yeah, but then he lets him go.
Well, but first he calls Kirk, and then Kirk lets him go. He did
That's
his
true.
job.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, so Spock points out that, hey, we have to go down and analyze these creatures, and they can't do anything else to me. I'm already infected. And it's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, good point. And
perfect
so
point. He's never been more right. But it's that classic Spock thing that we've seen many times throughout Star Trek of he's so very correct and very logical, but he causes so much chaos by just not telling anyone what he's
yeah,
up
he's
to.
being kind of a dickhead about it.
He
He
could have
because
now.
he punched the shit out of the other guy who was in the room, and he didn't need to do all that.
Granted, he's got like a big parasite twisting around in his Vulcan ass, but he could have just waddled up to the bridge, been like, Captain, here's exactly what I think I need to do, and you should let me do it. And then Kirk would have said yes. He just said yes here. So we didn't have to get in an argument with Scotty about it.
Yeah, but it was a good scene, so I'll allow it.
Oh, I will always take a Scotty scene.
Bones basically disagrees. He doesn't think that he should be allowed to go down, but Kirk is like, no, it's fine, whatever. And so they beam him down. Bones complains to Kirk, and he's like, don't tell me he's the only man for the job. But Kirk's like, yeah, well, we both know that he is, though, because he's literally
Might
fucking
be.
Spock.
Yeah.
Um, Down on the planet, Spock is almost immediately jumped by a goon with a weird key looking thing, and then it doesn't matter. Spock's the best. He just knocks him out super hard, super fast. He goes back to the art museum where he got infected, and he shoots a chicken cutlet off the roof and sticks it in his toolbox.
Little pancakes falling. He just takes it.
And I did note while he's walking around the planet, he's twitching a lot. Like he's just like every so often, like the pain hits him. And it kind of looks
Yeah.
a little bit like a Tourette's tick, but it's also, I think, it's a good little acting bit. Way to go.
Yeah. It's him like holding it all back.
Yeah. In the science lab that I don't know if we've seen before, but here it is. We're in the science lab. Spock is examining the chicken cutlet. He's got it in like a little tube thing.
Right.
And he says it's basically, he says it's a one-celled organism. I'm like, it's a big fucking one cell. But he says it's basically just one really big brain cell. And he says that they're part of sort of a hive mind, and this is only one part of a whole. And we'd never figure out what that whole is, but it does intimidate me.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the way that they've described it is like each thing is one cell of a bigger thing just flying around. I think that's cool. I
I
don't know. I think that's super cool.
I didn't know which one it was because it's either like, oh, all of there's a million of this thing and they act as one entity, or it's like this is like a spore shot off from some big ass brain monster somewhere.
It could be either. Like it could be just, oh, it's a hive mind of little sucker things, or
Yeah,
like the being in a manner of which we can't really understand is all of these things, and it just, the way it lives, it's not stuck together. And that's how I kind of picture it.
that makes sense. They end up saying some weird shit here that I don't super love. They start losing me where they're like, oh, this thing might be from a part of the universe that our laws of physics like don't apply. And I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going. You're losing
Yeah.
me a little bit here.
But you know what I can say? I'll jump ahead to a trivia.
Okay.
This is the first time we see McCoy's lab.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I was right. I was like, we're in some weird science lab that I don't think I'd seen. This is McCoy's lab because we've seen the. I assumed it was like because Spock is the science officer. I assumed it was his.
This says McCoy's lab. I guess it could be Spock's. I don't know. I mean, so here's what it
If the
says.
thing you're reading says McCoy's lab, it's probably McCoy's lab.
It does say McCoy's lab. Inside, you can see the prop that was previously used as Balak's lamp device in the Corbomite maneuver.
Lamp device. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that, but all right.
It's sitting on a shelf. They use different components of sick bay. We have the decompression chamber seen in Space Seed is in here.
Oh, I didn't see it.
They also, one of the life support canisters used on the Botany Bay is in here.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this scene. I didn't realize there were so many Easter eggs.
Yeah, I guess so.
But okay, so Kirk points out that the guy flying into the sun said that he was free right before he died, and he's like, we should look into that because clearly the answer is in that. And so Bones, who's been scanning Spock the whole time, just like being really suspicious of Spock, which is probably fair.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime later, Bones says that he hasn't gone anywhere. It's we cut. So Spock is like dealing with the thing, and then we cut, and it's Chapel and Bones who are looking at it in the exact same chair. And he basically says we tried to hit it with different kinds of radiation that the sun could have been putting out that might have killed it. We tried to heat it up to 9,000 degrees, and it didn't do anything. We haven't figured it out. Like we don't know. We've gotten nowhere. Sorry, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
And then he points out that they have the finest equipment in the galaxy. And then I said, unfortunately, the person using it is Bones.
Damn.
And so they start kind of talking like they might have to kill the colonists. This is the first part where they sort of float that idea out there of like,
Yeah,
we
debating,
might have to kill them to stop the thing from spreading.
like, we have to kill these parasite things, but how do we do that without killing everyone that's infected by it? To which Spock says, just kill us.
Yeah. So yeah, could we get a little bit of commercial break in between, and then they're in the thinking room that I don't know what else to call it. It's like a meeting room, but we've seen it 100 times.
Yeah.
And Kirk says, basically Kirk refuses. He's like, I'm not going to kill the colonists, and I'm not going to let these things go. We're the goddamn crew of the Starship Enterprise. We can find a third option. And so Spock requests to beam down to the planet so that they can just like kill them. He's like, hey, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to hold this thing back. Like, you might just need to kill us. And if you kill the colonists, you're going to have to kill me and your nephew, Peter, as well.
Yep. I mean, it's always up to Spock to say, like, this is a hard choice, but it will solve our problem the fastest.
It does feel like he gave up a little early. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times these plays that the Enterprise crew has to do are so, like, they're buzzer beaters. So
yeah, it feels
we're getting close to the
yeah,
we're all gonna die moment.
It feels like a lot of the time, if we took Spock's plan the second he had it, that we would have made a lot of bad choices.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes
a lot of justifiable bad choices.
Sometimes you have to say no to Spock, and Kirk was right to say no to Spock on. It turns out.
So they try to brainstorm what about the sun could have killed the parasite. And he's like, okay, so it's really hot. It gives off radiation. What else? And then Spock is like, it takes up space. And it's like, that's nothing. You know, that's nothing.
Were you raising your hand at this point, being like, ooh, me, teacher, me?
About
Hello,
maybe it's light. I did
it's the
think
light.
that. I did think that. I kind of thought that earlier.
It was kind of like an adult Blues Clues moment where Kirk is like facing camera, not looking into camera, but like pondering off. He's like, it gives off heat,
Yeah.
it gives off
Well,
radiation.
he's
What else does the sun do? And
well
I was like,
he's
oh, me.
well he's flipping a light on and off while he's talking about it. There's like the light on his
Yeah,
computer. He's like flipping it on and
that's
off.
how he figured it out.
Yeah. So, eh. So Bones is talking shit again, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Well, we can't move the planet closer to the sun." And I'm like, Bones, why is that the first thing you think? We just found out that the solution is a really big light bulb, and you said, "Well, we can't move the planet into the sun." Like, who? No one asked.
You know what? You know what? Put Bones on the Fantastic Four. I like the way he
Get
thinks.
his ass out of here. So they put the chicken cutlet in a room, and they flash a big light at it, and it melts.
That's true.
And then Kirk says, "We have to test it on a person," and Bones is like, "Whoa, that's crazy." And then Spock is like, "We should test it on me." And he's like,
Probably.
So
That's
Spock
probably
volunteers
true.
himself, and they put on these protective goggles, but they can't. Bones tries to give protective goggles to Spock, and he's like, "Well, the people down there won't have it." And he's like, "Well, yeah, you're right." So he
Yeah,
goes in there without it.
that's true. But it's also like they know how harmful that light can be. So like I guess they're coming from the standpoint of like, well, if this is gonna blind everybody, we'll know.
Yeah, but I also
But
yeah, it was a bad decision.
it really also comes across of like, well, if they all have to be blind, I should be blind too. I should be blind with them.
Yeah, it'll give us a little bit of plausible deniability of like, well, we tried it on our guy first.
So that's kind of a big bummer. This made me think, like, I had a stupid moment
Okay.
where I was like, I guess I'd never thought about it before. Where I just very quickly I was like, Spock, just close your eyes. And I was like, wait a minute. The
It's gonna
power
be
of the
so
sun,
bright. It's gonna be so
like
bright.
your eyelids wouldn't even protect you.
Well, I was also kind of thinking that a little bit. I was like, it might protect a little bit, but certainly not
I'll
enough. Because I was
I'll
like,
have you know,
well, if
I
the
turned I
go
turned
for it.
on my phone flashlight
Yeah,
and I closed my eye and I put it up to my eye and it hurt.
why did you do
So
that? Why
to
did you
see,
do? Why did you do that?
to see, don't pretend, don't
This
pretend
is
like you're not a
this
man of science.
this, this is a real Bones moment. I think I understand why you associate with him so much.
Associate with him. I
Yeah,
condemn him as much as you do. You're rewriting history, you fuck.
you said he's the best doctor.
He's not the best doctor. The best doctor in Star Trek is a hologram.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm excited to see.
Well, you'll get to it in 7 years when we
Oh
get
dear
there.
God. So Spock sits in the light chamber and Bones flashes him, and Bones before he does it, he's like, "Hey, are you sure we want to do this?" Like Spock is the best first officer in the fleet, and Kirk is like, "Yeah, go for it." And it does work. Spock says that he is free of the pain, but then he immediately walks into a table because he's blind. The light has fried his eyeballs.
Absolutely.
And then literally 1 second later, if they had just waited, Chapel walks into the room with the information that says, "Hey, we didn't need the whole spectrum of light. It's just this one little thing that you can't even actually see as a human being with your normal human
It's
eyes."
it's the one that doesn't blind you.
It's the one that doesn't blind you.
Oh, we blinded Spock for no reason.
Yeah.
So is this where the episode takes a turn to being a little too stupid?
No, this was, I think, fine. I think it's maybe a little annoying that the solution comes literally
Maybe if
1 second later.
maybe if we had staggered it out a little bit,
Yeah, I think
it would have
maybe if we
felt
had like done this earlier or something, and then we were like, "Oh no, it's the full spectrum of light," or like whatever, it would have felt a little bit better. It didn't bother me. There was a little bit of like, "Oh, we're running out of time. We had to get this done real fast." That definitely came into play, but I think it was okay.
okay.
But because I think the part that sells it is how shitty Bones feels about it. I think that makes it like a
Yeah.
worthwhile scene. And also, like, okay, we blinded him with light, and my thing was like, we haven't figured out how to like fix that sort of blindness in the future because there's already like, do we not have the Geordie LaForge glasses yet? We don't
No,
have that
no.
shit.
No. We don't have it yet.
Okay.
And Jordy's still blind.
So they then immediately just torch the planet with the right kind of light that doesn't blind people but does kill the machines. And all
Yep,
the
we get
chicken
'em.
cutlets melt into smoke, which then I was like, oh, did that happen inside Spock's body? Because ew.
you bet your bottom dollar all these people have diarrhea now. That all has to
Yeah,
come
if they
out.
didn't before, they do now. That's for damn sure. Uhura says it's working, which is cool because Uhura got a line. Kirk tells Bones. Kirk tells Bones to tell Spock that it worked, is what I wrote in my notes, which is maybe a weird thing. But
Bones should
Kirk,
have said he can hear.
yeah, well, and he's saying it over the communicator because Spock and Bones are down in Med Bay, and Kirk is on the bridge. And Bones doesn't reply because he's like really depressed that he blinded Spock.
Yeah.
And so Kirk is like, "Oh, it's not your fault, man. Like we didn't like we had to figure this thing out. Like I'm sorry." But then Spock almost immediately walks in, and he can see now because you see he's got Vulcan eyes, and so he has a second eyelid, like a reptile.
He said
And so it just
he
there's
said,
temporary blindness.
"Don't worry, guys. Those were just my baby eyes.
Those are my baby eyes. I've got new ones now.
They grow back."
And
So is this the part where it became too stupid?
yeah, this is the part where you could.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Spock Kirk makes a joke about like, oh, getting your vision back would be a really emotional thing for other people. I take it that wasn't the thing for you, and he's like, oh, well, maybe a little bit because for my first sight was Dr. McCoy.
Oh, this
like,
guy's ugly ass.
I was like, boom roasted, and then Bones is like, don't tell him that I said he was the best first officer in the fleet, and he's like, thank you.
Ah, when you go blind, you get better hearing, and I kept my better hearing. I heard that.
I heard that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Well, thanks, Spock.
And so there ends the episode.
So did Spock know that he wasn't permanently blinded and he was just being an asshole?
He must not have. He must not.
But
have.
He walks in, and he's like, "Oh, Vulcans have the fucking," and it's just like, well, wait. So he's talking like he knew.
Well, he's being an asshole. But he also mentions how like they don't think about it, like they don't think that they have it. He says, "Oh, it's a lot like your appendix." It's like no one fucking knows what the appendix does at this point. I think even if he knew that he had a second eyelid, I don't necessarily because he's like, "Oh, the sun of Vulcan is like way brighter or some shit." I don't think he necessarily knew like I'm not blind. I think that maybe he thought he would stand a better chance and just didn't mention it because we needed the dramatic thing for the episode. But I don't think that he was like, oh, well, I'll be fine. I got my baby eyes.
I'm not ruling out that he just played an epic prank on Bones.
It's possible. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What a japester.
What a dickhead. Do you have any more trivia?
I have one. And to close out season 1, I kid you not, this might be my favorite trivia I've ever read for Star Trek.
Oh my God.
Now, the last time that we read something like this, I looked for the footage of it and couldn't find it. This, unfortunately, is no different. I would love to be able to have the footage of this moment captured forever. There's an outtake on the Star Trek blooper reel showing one of the alien parasites attaching itself to Spock's buttocks by mistake.
Uh-oh.
And that's season 1.
That was the only one.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that thing at one point it grabbed his butt.
Everything I said about him having a parasite in his butt and having diarrhea is absolutely true because it happened.
Oh no. That's why it was on your mind, because it was on his butt.
That was on my mind before I found the trivia.
I like that story. How you feel about this episode? What would you give it?
Oh, I'd still give it an engage. The blindness thing at the end kind of pisses me off. I won't lie.
It's a little
especially that it's like, oh, I got better, like right at the finish line. But I like the little flappy guys. I like Kirk's conundrum in the episode. I love a good Spock episode, and this falls in that category.
For sure. Yeah.
Everyone's good. It's if it weren't for the blindness thing, it would be higher ranked, but it still gets an engage from me.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I didn't care so much about the blindness thing. That didn't annoy me as much. The part of it that annoyed me is I didn't like the way that the things looked. I wish that they had a more interesting sort of look to them. That was really my only sort of bigger negative. Everything else that I could like, there's nitpicks I could make, but my overwhelming feeling of this episode is like, it's an interesting take. I think it's fun. I think it's well executed. All the acting done here is is well done. You know, I like Kirk and Spock and Bones in this. I think, you know, our trinity of our people all puts in a good performance. I was entertained the entire time. I knew what was going on. I wasn't confused. I wasn't bored. What more can I ask for, frankly?
I wish we could get into prop hunting. I would keep one of the little pancake flaps on my wall.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Those things probably all went in the trash, right? Like almost certainly.
We watched them melt. Come on.
There's no way. They're probably just like these little like silicon, like they've all dissolved by now, if they were even kept in a warehouse to begin with.
Yeah, you could. I don't know if this is that popular of an episode that people would be recreating them, but
No.
you could
I mean,
probably
at
find
most,
out how to do it.
maybe like someone kept the mold. You know what I mean?
It could be that we do know that it has some kind of like air bladder in it that probably has like a tube or something. I think
Yeah.
the most likely thing you would find is how they made it, and then you could recreate it. I think that probably would be the easiest.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Well, if you're also waiting for that one day where Skylar can get a chicken cutlet to hang on his wall, you can tell us all about it in the comments on YouTube and on Spotify. Share us around. Tell all your friends about how great of a Star Trek podcast we are. You can follow the show on Twitter at @RSR_POD. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Daniel J. McG.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Skylar8bit. It's worth mentioning that our plan as of right now is before jumping into season 2, we're going to take a small break.
Yes.
We're going to rewatch something else. Not like a long-standing series. We'll come back to Star Trek relatively soon.
Yes.
But we are going to take a couple rewatch episode break, maybe like 2 or 3. So we'll figure out what that is and get back to you next time.
Yes, and I'll post whatever that is to our socials. So if you want to find out before the episode is aired, you can follow us there to find it. And until next time, let's see what's out there.
See what's out in season 2.
Let's see what's in season 2, baby.
The game's just starting, the world's so bright. Jump right in, everything feels right. Press play, take a trip back in time where pixels and memories intertwine.